Hi, everybody. It's Peter Schiff. This is Thursday, September 10th, 2009, and I am recording this vlog from my hotel room in Krynica, Poland, where I'm here for a economic conference. I just came back from dinner. I actually got to have dinner with Edmund Phelps, who won the Nobel Prize for Economics in 2006. Anyway, back in the U.S., the Dow was up about 80 points today, but again, I think the real story is what's happening with the dollar, what's happening with gold and gold stocks. The dollar index once again was down. The dollar index is now trading with a 76 handle. The dollar index today closed at a new low for the year. Gold stocks, the Philadelphia, the HUI index, was up about 4.5%. It closed at a new 52-week high. The last time gold stocks were this high, the Dow Jones was above 11,000. The Dow Jones now is about 9,400. So early on in this crisis, maybe back in late 2008, early 2009, gold stocks were way underperforming the general market, the stock market. Now, gold stocks are substantially outperforming the U.S. stock market. So things have turned quite dramatically. And I remember a lot of people were, poking fun at me for having owned gold stocks because they were able to say, look how much gold stocks went down in late 2008. Sure, they went down, but look how much they've come back up. And, from my perspective, it's worked out pretty well. Personally, I was able to buy more gold stocks in late 2008, early 2009. And so now I'm even better positioned to profit from a bull market in gold than I would have been had gold stocks simply went straight up. Also, what I wanted to talk about is, there's a lot more concern and a lot more talk about the noise coming out of China, coming out of the UN, with respect to their concerns about the dollar, about our printing money, about our deficits, about the reserve currency status of the dollar. All of this makes sense, especially if you look at, the recent stories about the Chinese government encouraging their citizens to buy gold and silver. I mean, it makes sense that they would be doing that if they understand that the dollar is going to lose value, that they're going to stop propping up the dollar. In fact, there was a news story the other day that the Chinese government, through Hong Kong, is going to be issuing yuan-denominated debt for the first time ever. I know I got emails from several of my clients who were interested in buying this debt. And the question that you have to ask is why is this happening? Why is the Chinese government issuing debt in the first place? After all, they don't need to borrow money. They're lending us money. Does it make any sense at all for the Chinese government to borrow money so it can turn around and lend it back to the United States? No. So why are they doing it? Why is the Chinese government going into the market and borrowing money when it doesn't need it? Well, the reason is they're trying to prepare the world for the yuan. They're trying to create a market for yuan, and get a bond market denominated in yuan to basically prepare the world to lay the foundation for their currency to have a more active role in the global economy. Why are they doing that? Because they understand the diminished role that the dollar is going to serve. So everything that they're doing is preparing for the day when the dollar is no longer the reserve currency, when the Chinese government is no longer propping it up. So all you have to do is see all the signs, look at everything that's happening, and understand that the dollar's days are numbered. And the fact that it is falling like this, the fact that it's routinely making new lows and barely meriting a story in the news. Also related to the dollar today, we got the news story that the trade deficit for the last month rose by, I think, 16% or something like that. I'm not sure the percentage. But I think it was the biggest percentage increase in the trade deficit in 1 month in over 10 years. And one of the reasons for the increase in the trade deficit was cash for clunkers. Americans bought a lot of imported cars, and American car companies had to buy a lot of imported parts to make cars here, which again proves my point when I criticize cash for clunkers in the first place, is that we borrowed money to run up our trade deficit. We went deeper into debt as a nation as a result of cash for clunkers. How does this help our economy? To further burden Americans with debt so that we can raise profits for foreign companies. It made no sense whatsoever. And of course, as the trade deficit was shrinking before, those were steps in the right direction. Now we're going in the wrong direction. The same thing was happening with savings. Savings was increasing. Now it's dropping again. And ironically, I just read a story that President Barack Obama just passed some executive orders with respect to savings because he was worried that our savings rate was too low. Well, he should be, but if he was worried about it, he shouldn't be pursuing policies like cash for clunkers to drive it down. He shouldn't be encouraging and subsidizing Americans to go into debt, to buy automobiles with debt, to run up their debt on credit cards. All this is being subsidized by the U.S. government. But Barack Obama is trying to encourage savings. And the funny thing is, one of the ways he's doing it is he signed an order that says that anybody who's due a tax refund can automatically ask to receive their refund in U.S. Treasury bonds. Now, first of all, I would advise anybody out there not to do that. I mean, there's so many better places to invest your refund. The last place I would go right now is U.S. Treasuries. I mean, you're much better off just buying gold. But this also proves a point about crowding out. A lot of people say there is no crowding out. Well, obviously, if the U.S. government takes my refund and puts it directly into Treasury bonds, I don't have that money to save or invest someplace else. Somebody is going to be denied my savings because it went to the government instead. I mean, it's an obvious example. And of course, it really defeats the purpose of savings. The whole reason that society benefits from savings is because savings are available to businesses to make capital investments to grow the economy. If instead I give my savings to the U.S. government, where it uses that money to undermine the economy, just to spend money or to do destructive things with it, we don't even get the benefit of those increased savings. Anyway, quickly, I want to make one more political announcement. I am going to announce a final decision 1 week from today, Thursday, September 17th, on MSNBC Morning Joe. So make sure and watch, and I will have a definitive answer one way or another whether or not I will in fact be a candidate for the U.S. Senate in the state of Connecticut for 2010. I also have the notice on the SchiffForSenate.com website just before I record this blog. We're right at $999,000. I definitely want to be as far above $1 million in money raised when I make my announcement, if in fact I am going to run, because I think the more money that I've raised going into the announcement, the stronger I look as a potential candidate. So if you want me to run and you want my announcement to have as big an impact as possible, make sure and go to the SchiffForSenate.com website and make your donations and get your friends to make your donations. And again, remember, if I decide not to run, I will announce that decision as well 1 week from today, at which point I will be returning the contributions. So you've got nothing to lose. Anyway, that's it for today from Poland. I'll be blogging again soon.